Jim Warren grew up in a little country town in North Mississippi, Ripley, Mississippi. And one day during his senior year, he loaded up his little Toyota truck and decided he was going to come down to the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi and check it out. I don't think he'd ever laid foot or eyes on the campus before. So he spent the day, got a tour, looked around, talked to the Honors College, said, this is where I want to be. But he quickly also said, I can't afford this. So he walks into the Aubrey Lucas Administration Building, the Dome, late in the day and asks if he can see the president, Dr. Lucas. And he walked out about 35 or 40 minutes later with a full ride presidential scholarship. So it tells you a lot about Jim, and I think it tells you a lot about why he came to love the university so very much. In my role at the time as Dean of Students, Jim became very active on campus in his freshman year. His first real activity was Kappa Sigma, and he sort of squeezed all the fun he could out of that during his freshman year. Then he would go on to become very involved in student government. He was one of the student government presidents that I advised. He was also a member of Southern Style, so I really got to know him through his activity as a student leader on campus, and we became fast friends.
A lot of my first memories would be, tailgating with Dad and his brother, my Uncle Walt, out in what I think now is the Trent Lott building. There was a parking lot there, and so I grew up on this campus with him, attending football, basketball, all sorts of events. We kind of tore up that stretch of 49 from Jackson to Hattiesburg.
Not everybody that knew Jim knew that he was a brilliant litigator, and that he was really internationally known for unraveling very complex corporate and insurance and corporate conflict kinds of litigation, just a star in the courtroom. And of course, from that, he built a really viable law firm and taught that to others, and really cared about those young lawyers that he brought in and grew along the way.
I played football in high school. Very rarely did he, miss a football game. We had a regular Saturday lunch with the family at the Cherokee Inn in Jackson, if anybody's familiar with that. So I think another talent of his was being able to turn off that career lawyer mind when it was time for family.
I mean, Jim could be a wily rascal now, and was a ton of fun. And Jim was really funny, but he wasn't quite as funny as he thought he was, okay? I don't think anybody would disagree in the audience about that. But goodness gracious, one of the things that was so unique about Jim is he could have a conversation with a governor, with an ambassador, with a CEO, and be just as comfortable having a conversation with the mechanic working on his car or the folks working on the grounds of the campus. He was truly a person that could engage and relate and accept people regardless of their educational background or where they were from. He loved people and they loved him back.
Well, I think one thing about Dad is that he was always passionate about everything he did, whether that was Southern Miss athletics. We'd go out of our way to travel to go to an away game almost every year growing up, away football game growing up. He and I went to most times that we made a regional from the time I was in high school on. But he was passionate about everything down to he decided to take up mandolin when he was in his 40s. He hadn't really played an instrument at all in his life. And that turned into passion that lasted the rest of his life in music of all kind and attempting to play the mandolin. But no matter what it was, he didn't do it halfway.
Even when Jim was here, we were challenging our students to leave the university better than they found it. And Jim took that to heart and turned that into literally a lifetime endeavor. So he's always been involved, he's always been invested. a generous donor to the University Foundation, establishing academic scholarships, a member of the Circle of Champions in athletics. But beyond his treasure, he gave his time and his immeasurable talent to us. I mean, here's one person that was the president of the University Foundation, was the president-elect of the USM Athletic Foundation, and was the president-elect of the USM Alumni Association. So it was really service above self for Jim Warren. And not only did he assume all those positions, I mean, he was helpful. He supported the staff in all those three organizations. He was a brilliant problem solver. He was a tremendous negotiator, and you know, we to this day miss that talent in helping Southern Miss be better. One of the blessings knowing Jim is getting to know his big family, the boys, Melinda, Caroline, Jackie, Walt, everybody. And so tonight we need to remind ourselves that this is about celebrating Jim, his legacy, and he'd want us to have fun tonight. So many of my best memories, I mean, of my life, but especially of Dad, are Southern Miss memories. So that recognition from Southern Miss of what he's contributed is just, it really does mean the world to us. So this just kind of puts a bow on it. So it really is very special.